For legal advice, consult a professional. Yes, the law is meant to be applied equally to everyone. This is a core principle, meaning it applies to all, regardless of their background. For legal advice, consult a professional.
The notion to show you something about fucking with a white woman is not appropriate when applying your law. So what? It was a white woman. The law still should be applied equally according to the law. Terry Ashford reporting it for you.
For legal advice, consult a professional.
Okay, it's Terry Dwayne Ashford here for Street Now News here, bringing you some practicality here where theories, even in law, should be applied in practical events and practical incidents that applies here in the public space. I'm Terry Ashford bringing that to you so you can get it, do it, love it, and so you got to hear from Street Now News. Reporting on law situations and enforcement of laws that everybody is supposed to be scared to talk about. Well, do you understand that the Washington, D.C. Metropolitan Police and all polices around the world belongs to the citizens, that they are public servants, and that they should be doing things in according to law themselves? That means their protocol should be in accordance to law of serving the citizens. I'm Terry Ashford showing you some things here so that you can stay in compliance with law when you are violated. And what we're seeing here at Street Now News here, investigative part of our company here of That Media Women Enterprises, is that many are being violated. Some of those situations don't really require talking about, fighting about, and all of that stuff. But some of them, when done on a consistent basis over and across the board, something has to be doing. Journalism is that fourth entity of law, fourth entity of the American Constitution that brings about the research so that you can get it, do it, love it, and say you got to here to make those amendments that you need to make in the enforcement, in the judicial, legislative, and the other branch of law that does include enforcement. What we are seeing over here is activity of selective enforcement, and not only is enforcement itself is selective and according to things that it should not be, the application of the law when the enforcement occur is selective. And sometimes we have found that the application, the methodology and tactical offense that's used, it is offense because our enforcers have the authority. So whenever they violate laws, enforcing laws on citizens, they need to do it correctly. Their justification is usually on fairness. That fairness is not law. Quite understandable. But fairness is law when an official is doing something wrong. It becomes law because the official knows better. He needs to handle his business the way his business is supposed to be handled. And that means you need to apply the law equally. Apply the law equally. Apply the same judgment. If you're in the position to be making a judgment, you need to apply it equally, regardless of the individuals. I'm Terry Ash. It is Terry Dwayne Ashford showing right here for you here in this video for U.S. Street Now. Brings you news and streetivity in that particular office of investigations. When we're looking at the social ills of the society, that journalism is trusted as one of the hidden branches of our judicial, executive, and legislative system. You have somebody who has to do the research for you and get it right on over to those who can make those changes, and those changes in those laws include those called amendments. This is Terry Dwayne Ashford right here from Washington, D.C., showing you who he is. They call him. While you have those illegals running behind Terry Dwayne Ashford, posing their faces as him. Well, you don't have enough experience to be here, to be him. So what do you think you're doing? For Street Now News, Terry Ashford here. We developed this report for you because we saw a huge problem in this where others are turning their heads and their eyes to the ordeal. It is not appropriate if you intend to have a law-abiding society on civility. Civility and civil duties means doing the right things right. Most of the time, at least try it. Whether you get it right or not. For Street Now News, I'm Terry Ashford reporting it for you.
This report is being delivered from this point, by staff that Terry Dwayne Ashford finds himself proud to have brought and delivered such a powerful right-way source of protection for our people. Terry Dwayne Ashford, son of Wilma, just finds some answers to issues so deplorable in the deployment of enforcement. Street Now News, Investigative Division, is watching and finding so many grave errors in the application of law as it applies to those public servants that are supposed to be trained. When trained, the employees should know enough to apply critical professional skills. Watching day in and day out, we are finding that employee staff do not show enough competency to apply even the rules of their hired roles when applying rules, standards, laws to blacks, that I cannot believe that the employees do not have such as that much education given a job over others. Toe application of the law done by enforcement. One officer waited for me at 7-Eleven and wanted to butt into a person's conversation and make his officer white badge mean something, and was shown your badge buddy has limits, and that is if you keep your job after this. Okay, a banger is nothing but a whoremongering in daytime and a stripper by night on the same size of his rump cakes. So when the officers get it wrong in the eyes of someone who knows they know, like the 7-Eleven, he's probably going to be fired. He parked his car away from the location of Wisconsin Avenue, where he had gone by gang ploys to do the crimes, and the journalist followed the officer and got he wanted to be a butcher for white people on a nigger, handled by Street Now News. Buddy, we won't send recommendations to your captain for this one, 'cause you saw we saw you, and your running was enough to laugh about it, showing you nothing but a piece of shit from the white cheese wall in front of the bathroom. Okay, now get out of here. Street Now suggested that if you are examining a specific legal system or case, L can provide more targeted information. Would you like to explore historical Supreme Court cases on equal protection, analyze how different countries enforce the rule of law, or discuss current legal reforms aiming to bridge the gap between theory and practice? This report is by the CEO-founder, Terry Ashford, on resource disparities that impact the decisions of enforcers that aids them getting it wrong whenever they do. And the problem is the cops lie. He likes some of us and hides that, and a cop is supposed to not have a hard Peter for a person on duty. That is fact, buddy, and is why journalism is all on you. You need to get counseling supported by the police department if this has been a problem for such as you, even as an officer. 'Cause off duty, you shouldn't be getting a hard-on or into a love match with yourself over a person who is trying just to honor the badge. Incidents like this should be as it does. Have you fired? Another factor brought by Terry Dwayne Ashford as news writer is that wealthier individuals can afford superior legal representation, which can heavily influence case outcomes. Number 3 from news writer Terry Dwayne Ashford is systemic biases on the historical and institutional biases that can lead to and have evidence so into unequal enforcement, unequal profiling, and unequal sentencing disparities when is among different demographic groups. Another brought by Terry Dwayne Ashford, news writer for his own DAT Media Wilma Wayne Enterprises, includes immunity doctrines. Legal concepts like diplomatic, legislative, or qualified immunity occasionally shield certain officials from standard legal liabilities. If you are examining a specific legal system or case, it can provide more targeted information. Let's talk up front about the historical Supreme Court. The core pillars of equal application, rule of law, no individual, including government leaders, is above the law. What about equal protection? Here we talk to the world about.
Well, thank you. We're going to take a quick intermission here as I'm going to come in here, interrupt my staff here, and share with you that I am so proud to have them here assisting me in carrying out these objectives of DAT Media Wilma Wayne Enterprises. As you also know, as the news writer for this, I'm also your CEO, your founder, and your executive president of the enterprise. The enterprise that comprises of several companies there that does include That Guy Radio, That Guy TV, That Me TV, which include several TVs, Hooker TV, Hookup TV, Medlin TV, and Sit Down TV are just amongst those television content stations that's providing content for the official DAT Media Wilma Wayne Enterprises television, and that is none other than the Me TV. I'm Terry Ashford. Here I'm that son of Wilma, bringing it for you here at the Bleacher Stadium right here. That is currently just the bleachers, right here at Howard Place in Washington, D.C. The Maury Wills feel. We're now jumping back into the report for you here, where we saw some things earlier today that kind of alarmed us. We didn't want to say or have anything to say about it other than the fact, because it wasn't harming. It really didn't harm the individuals other than the fact that it is illegal. You need to make sure, or at least honor, the Constitution of the Americas. It is what makes America great. You know? Yes or no?
Starting again from where we left off before the intermission, when I jumped in and destroyed my own staff's great work.
Well, not really. I just apologized for taking charge when usually I sit back and allow my qualified staff to do their jobs. My management approach is linked to my hiring approach. I let the qualified ones do their jobs as expected of someone brought in qualified to do it. It's a management approach that I feel respects my employees, unless there are signs showing coaching might be needed. Your CEO founder Terry Dwayne Ashford is your newswriter for this June 10th staff reporting in a team. What about equal protection? Here we talk to the world about the constitutional clauses that guarantee all citizens receive the same legal protections and rights. Impacted by impartial administration is
Courts
one
and law
major
enforcement
infraction must judge actions based on established statutes, not personal status. Real-world challenges is another newswriter selection for outlining this issue he has seen and has found himself disturbed about the actions of our said-to-be professionals. Are they professional to fight doing such as this? As a reminder, the theoretical answer is a definitive yes. The practical execution often faces systemic hurdles. Law, indeed, is by no means be adjusted to crimes and is supposed to be applied to everyone equally. The answer is yes or no. That is yes. The foundational principle of rule of law states that laws must apply to everyone equally, regardless of status, of wealth, or of power. Core pillars of equal application is centered on these qualifying factors that 1. Rule of law, that no individual, including government leaders, is above the law, and 2. That bullet equal protection means constitutional. These clauses guarantee that all citizens receive the same legal protections. When a journalist on his job on his clock sees this, so overtly like the enforcer don't know, there appears to be an accountability problem that may be mapped to whether enforcement is in a gang or not, therefore protected by mobs. Mobs in America is underground, if there is to be any at all. So let's not be arrogant in selecting who to apply your laws to. This report is for Street Now Street Ivity Office of Investigations. This office handles social ills of our society that everyone may have seen and left to shush be quiet about the crimes based on their political like for the person, where others agree with hurting them. That is inappropriate by enforcers employed as a public servant for our communities.
Well, thank you so much. Here you see how we try to be a good public participant, and we also enjoy really good public enforcers. When Americans, or America, the nation, sees problems, they send out a secret fourth branch of government to investigate and provide some findings, and that's when the findings are addressed, by those who need to know. Sometimes those findings could impact amendments to laws in our legislative branch. It definitely could be spooled right on back up to the judicial branch that make those, the executive branch that make those laws from the beginning, started from the ground up, with bills that turns into laws, and amendments of those bills are also affected by this particular branch that you may not even know is out there and happening. We do know that in some of those international nations, many of them, most of them, they don't have something like researchers in journalism and journalistic reviews on things that's happening in their community. That's what journalists can do best, is review those laws that are considered loopholes that, you just look at it and say, I wish I could do something about that. Oh, I wish I could do something about that. Well, so you can do something about it. Find your nearest journalist, the best journalist you know, and you just voice the problem. If that is a real problem, a real social ill that is really making an impact on our people, a journalist will be out there on it before you know it, and you won't know it, by the way, until those changes occur. you see those changes through our enforcement. I'm Terry Ashford, Street Now News. I never said or never ever take on the role of a police officer, but it appears that some people seem to think that I am because of the impact of Streetivity and Street Now News and what we're doing to protect you. Where I came from, where I studied journalism, police and journalism worked hand in hand. We were together. We cared about each other. They showed us some of the issues that was going on, and we addressed those issues by providing research and reports.